Hey, Speakers from Arduino Slant, it's me, Speckers with here. In this video, I am making some new creatures, and one of them is a golem, and I actually add a new character to the domestic apocalypse world. And all these are original characters. First one is a welding golem, second one is a skeletal spider, third one is a, new member of the Demost Alliance, a domestic flames golem. It's a golem that Demost make, but they're quite rare in most terms, but I'll mostly go more into that depth in that in the actual video. Then I have gone to another universe, and I go over a character that I came up with. Now let's roll intro and let's get into this video. Let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, usually my brother goes over golems, but since this golem is, these types of golems are a unique case, to put it lightly. They are like that because they're actually intelligent, well, more intelligent than the average golem. They are actually able to make stuff and be reasonable with humans. Like, they're like average human intelligence, sometimes about as smart as some pretty smart people. I've actually worked with one. These golems are still classified as creatures, but creatures in this world there's two different types: beasts and creatures. My brother is a beast and cataloger and hunter, while I'm a domestic. And one second. It's hard for me to remember my title because there's so many different titles for people. And mine is the Demost and Monster Interviewer. But I prefer to call myself the Beast Interviewer. Well, Creature Interviewer. Creatures are different because they are intelligent like humans. Like average human intelligence, or higher or maybe a little bit lower. But still intelligent enough to talk and actually hold decent conversation. But beasts are more, how do you put it, beast-like on the count, and they're both their appearance and how they act. This one is more of a creature. It is a very intelligent golem, and, sorry, forgot to mention the name of these golems. The scientific name for them is the welding steam golem, or better yet, the welding golem. And the reason why that is because one arm is just a welding tool. The upper arm is a propane tank, mixed then a rock, and then a welding torch, a very big one too. They've been studying, trying to figure out where that propane comes from. It's just like it's magically refueled. And on the other arm, it's actually a steampunk arm, which is quite interesting on the count that steampunk arms are very hard to make, especially because we have a very modernized and advanced place where to live. Some people just like the idea of steampunk and try and make it, and they've actually been pretty successful using modern day technology. This thing's bomb legs are actually made of steampunk too. So yeah, it's basically like you took your average golem and hacked off its one arm, a good chunk of its other arm, and hacked off its lower legs, and then replaced it with steampunk. Yeah, people say that all of these are they got their intelligence from experiments, and some people think that a steampunk engineer, one of the originals, actually transferred his soul into one but it actually spread apart and actually put itself to multiple souls. Multiple soul fragments were sent into the actual other golem, because he actually had to use a little bit of his blood to actually make them. Now that one is more accurate of what happened. I kind of did some research and actually figured out what happened. I managed to get my hands on his diary, which was said to be lost in a fire, which it turned out it wasn't. There was a fire, but nothing major. I went there myself and I found it underneath a floorboard in his room. The reason why is because I used search magic. That was a pretty powerful spell. That it was a custom spell, no one else knew it. I could specify items, especially the person I was looking for. I found it and it put himself. I could feel myself being split into multiple parts, like my very being was being torn to pieces, and then just taken away and put into something else. Day 2, I found out what my soul fragments were transferring to. They were transferring to my golem projects. Well, at least I'll live on, and I hope I can help more people. No one knows who this guy was, for the record. So, yeah. That will explain how they got their such high intelligence. Let's get to the next one, where my brothers are going to go over them. Okay, my brother went over a golem, so I'm going to go over a creature that is more of a beast. This creature is known simply by its most common name, even amongst the scientific community, because of how weird it is. It's known as the skeletal spider, which is quite weird because these things aren't because spiders usually don't have a skeleton. They have an exoskeleton, not a actual skeletal system. But their creature name that some scientists actually call them is called, it's like something like Skeletus arachnid spider. These creatures are, like already stated, made up of bones. Their head piece is mostly, they have like a human skull, but has 8 holes and 2 little mandibles on it. Then it has like a little spine piece going down. It's like a neck piece, and then leading on to the body's like a huge rib cage, except it's like your rib cage where it was flattened out and then made bigger. This thing's main body is around 2 feet thick, and yeah, it's actually hollow, which will explain how come this thing's so fast. And the skull is actually empty. There's actually a just a little orb in there, like little gas-like orb that glows red for the eyes. And then there's on to each side of the spider creature's body, there are 2 humps, and then each of those actually has 2 legs coming off of. That gives a total of 8 legs, giving it the arachnid part. And it's actually double jointed. Well, technically, once at the hump, once in the middle, and then on the actual end. So it's triple jointed actually. It can't, at the full spread out length, like if you were made the thing just go flat, it goes around, each leg is around 10 feet long. So yeah. And I forgot to mention, from the end of the mandibles to the back of it, it's around, if I remember correctly, 7 feet long. So yeah, standing right up, like its very tips, its thing stands up around 12 feet tall, which is about the size of a demost. So yeah, that's a really tall creature. They are also very vicious, mostly attacking travelers that enter their territory. They are more of a nocturnal creatures. They are near impossible to kill, because if you try squashing it, it just reforms. It just comes back together, because All these bones have magical circuits running through them. It's like a robot sort, magical robot, more like it. The best way I figured out to kill them is to actually let off a magical EMP burst. That's the type. It's a type of spell that lets off a burst of energy, like magic energy, that actually disrupts them and makes them go dazed for a while. That will give them their recovering factor. Recovering factors are different from regeneration. Recovering factors are for something like this, and regeneration are for someone like a human or something like that. And using that, you can then have to use an explosive gun and a round and a gun, or explosive spell. Then you shoot at one, and it just blows its flamerine. It's pretty cool to see, to be honest. And okay, I might as well tell you a little story if I actually found out about that. It was when I was around my early 20s, and I was not that smart, and I was hunting one of these things. I was very naive. I hunted like a old record. I didn't have my domestic dragon hybrid mixed with the Avagon and the Abakugu King yet. That's when I was older. So I was hunting one of these creatures because terrorizing this one around. I was a little too arrogant, and I nearly got stabbed through the chest. I only managed to evade because of my Danger Sense magic. Moved right out of the way when I saw a leg poke right out and go back in. Also forgot to mention, they mostly stay curled up, and move around like that. That's usually around 3 feet long right there. So there's that. And it then tried attacking me again, but I managed to leap out of the way. I tried a few attacks and I didn't practically used every single spell I knew at the time. I then used my EMP burst magic, and then I saw that. I tried a few other attacks and I realized I was down to an explosive spell. Used it, and the thing just freaking blew up in my face, literally and figuratively. Ever since then, I've been hunting these things down. They are quite rare, so whenever I come across one, I just make short work of it, of the EMP Fireball. It's a fireball electrical magic spell. It first lets off a burst of magical energy, but shortly followed by whatever it hits, it explodes. So, yeah, it's a custom spell too. Just like my brother, it's an awesome spell, trust me. Okay, these next creatures are known as the Domestic Flames Elementals. Well, technically there's only around 5 of these creatures alive, but only one really answers to the Demost Alliance, and he goes by Def, which is he technically calls himself the Domestic Elemental Flames. So that's why he calls himself that. He has a few abilities that are quite interesting. One is that his hair, neck, upper arms, lower arm, and torso leading to his waist, and upper legs are all made of Demost flames. And they're actually mid-tier fire Demost flame, so it's quite interesting. His eyes are usually glowing dark gray, and he also has shapeshifting abilities in the hands. His body is actually made of Demost rock to actually combat the heat, but around the top it's actually made of Demost rock metal, which is a very hard substance to make. Only a Demost Lord King or Weapons Master can make one of these. But I can make the best grade there is. The best type there is. Because, I am literally the Lord King, so I'm pretty good at everything that Demost can do. But every now and again, when trying something new, I always ask Weapon weapons masters for help. So yeah, he's also a very nice guy. Other than that, you're pretty much the legs are pretty much your standard golem legs, and this guy always prefers to have one arm normal, just in case, and the other arm ready and a sword form. He just prefers swords in general. So I kind of respect the guy for that. Nothing, a whole lot of information on him, except for the fact that he actually stands up around. Actually, it's about the size of a Demo. One of my smaller Demos stands up around 8 feet tall. And the guys all said when he goes to sleep, he aka disabling all of his flames for a while. He weighs around half a ton, so 1,000 pounds. So yeah, but for me that's pretty much like chunking a pebble at someone. So yeah, I'm pretty strong. The few times someone tried to kill him by dousing water, they soon learned that it won't work. He gave them a fair warning not to do that again, and if they do, caramba, you don't want to see him mad, because the flames actually get to a more of a high tier, so it can get quite messy. Now, that's all I got for them. Now I am mainly just making this part so that way y'all know that this is me transitioning to the next universe. And this is the domestic apocalyptic universe. So, yeah, let's get to that. Okay, this next character is a character from, like I already stated, the domestic apocalyptic world. Her name is Next Humast. Her job is also Humast Hunter, and her race is Humast, half Demos, half human. She's actually the daughter of Shadow Nyx, the redesign I got for the rename for the Shadow. I thought Shadow Nyx sounded cooler, so I gave her that name. Other than that, I went for a standard costume design, and I gave her the ability of shadow control. So there's that, because her father is literally the Shadow. And yeah, and to be honest, I actually think I did a decent job drawing a strong female character design. I got a little thin arms, but also a little muscular. I think I'm actually getting better at drawing that one pose, like my submission for the Popcrest community redraw. I really like it, to be honest. Man, overall, it's a good character. Like I was saying, it's just a good character design. And, well, that's all I really got to say for this one. Well, I hope you all liked and enjoyed today's video, because all the time I got for it today. Until next time, subscribe to Adrian's Backstormer or Demos Alliance. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.